saying when men are told strive for the best, be the biggest and best and strongest, and women are, their messaging is, "Oh, just stay small, just be okay." Because when women make themselves large, they become targets, and they are putting themselves in the crosshairs of these men who are going, "You're in our place, you're not allowed here."
Slight segue, but one of the things that has occurred to me or struck me about women in gaming so far is that the women who do stream, and the women you sort of see competing in esports, the sort of women you see streaming on Twitch and getting a lot of viewers, they seem to be expected to sort of overly conform to the societal ideas of what femininity, that's such a hard word to say, but the societal ideas of what femininity really is. And so the most successful ones, you know, they've got their hair and their makeup done, and when people share their battle stations on the Gamer Girls subreddit, they're all pink and they're shiny, and they've got little cat ears on their headsets. So I'll try and like sync this up with the bit of video where I actually do the cat ears symbol and stuff like that. I mean, Zoe Summers, she has got cat ears on her headphones on her picture. There's me doing it. On her picture on the British Esports Women's page. And obviously if people want to be pink and shiny, that's totally fine. Like, I'm okay with people being pink and shiny, but it feels like it's almost only okay for you to be a gamer girl if you conform to be the girliest gamer girl you can be and just sort of stay in that box of being a woman. I mean, I don't know if that's just me who's taken that away, and, you know, I wonder if other people think the same.
No, I've actually been thinking about it. I had a look into. I was actually having a look at that list of the top black female streamers that you shared the other day, and a lot of. I was noticing that a lot of the streamers have a real. There's a real look. It's not look the same. They don't all look the same, but there's definitely there's definitely quite a lot of pressure put on the female streamers to have a look, whatever that look might be. Whereas a lot of the male streamers don't. They just seem to sit at their desks with a mic. So I think there is kind of a pressure on women in that world to maybe be more feminine, to make themselves perhaps as you were saying, Matt, to make themselves less threatening, themselves less
Deborah Francis White on The Guilty Feminist was once telling a story about this like incredible savant CEO, and they were bringing him in and he just dresses like a slob all the time, and they had to dress him up and to train him up to look presentable, but he'd risen to like the top of his profession whilst being like that. And she pointed out a woman wouldn't even get in the door if she wasn't wearing makeup or looking good or having her hair done, pointing out that men you can just wander in and think, oh yeah, this place looks good, I'll camp out here. And a woman, before she even starts, the message is you have to have a look. You can go with pink, you can do your hair in a certain way, do a cutesy pose, and then you go from there. It's always about presenting yourself how someone wants you to be, rather than just getting to be yourself, which is so much more relaxing.
Yes. I've just come to realise the last couple of years, actually, it kind of started the last couple of job interviews I've had. I haven't worn makeup, and I got the job. Not to boast or anything, but and then at that point I was like, well, actually, that's okay, because if men can go to job interviews and not wear makeup, why can't I? And then I thought about streaming. I just have been as I am now, without any makeup on or anything, just sitting on my bed playing games, and it's fine. So I do understand that there is a pressure, because I have had other women talk about the pressure and intimate that I should be fitting into a certain box at certain stages of my life as well. So there is certainly, it is real and it exists. But once you free yourself from that idea and that box, it is quite liberating it even if it's a very small step, just like not wearing makeup or whatever, anything you want to do to just be like not pressured into presenting yourself a certain way is a positive step, I feel.
It'll
Certainly.
shock you to your core to know that I do not wear makeup for these shows. My radioactive cheeks are just a natural product of my drinking and the poor lighting setup that I have here. Anyway, so before we move on to the wild card question of the show, is there anything more you want to say about esports, women's exclusion from it, or just generally the whole area that I haven't given you a chance to raise yet in this show?
I've got one thing. I found a really cool article about an esports team that was made up entirely of, I think, paraplegics and quadriplegics, which is where you can either only use one half of your limbs or none of your limbs. And one of the team is a woman, and her name is, I'll find it. I'm trying to read through the article here, as ever, always ultra prepared. Nairi Stevens, and I've got some quotes here where she talks about how she got into esports and just generally how she feels about it. She said how video games have become an important part of her life since she acquired her disability, so to speak. It helps me get my independence back to be able to play. When she joined the team, she was the only woman. You know what boys are like with their games, she says. They live for gaming, but I'm getting up there with them. Which I thought was an interesting quote, really, because it kind of shows that she wants to put herself on that kind of stage and be a part of it and be proud of being there, essentially. They all play with their mouths, by the way, which I think is really cool.
Absolutely, adaptive technology is one of those other things we need to be talking about at some point.
When you
Anything else before the wildcard question?